I'm back again. We're gonna go ahead and make another video since I got a little bit extra time on my hands. I was thinking, a lot of things have been said about the current state of today's WWE. And a lot of fans complain about John Cena. Oh, he shouldn't be the top dog in the WWE. He can't wrestle. He can't cut a promo. If he couldn't wrestle and he couldn't cut a promo, then why is he there? You gotta think, Vince McMahon is a multi-billionaire. And I think, even in his old age, the man knows what he's doing. Now, I will agree, it's not as good as it was in, say, 1985 or 1999, or when the wrestling world was on top. But the thing is, WWE still really isn't that bad. It's not as bad as these so-called internet smarks. Once again, I'm a smark, so shut up, Andy. But they come out here and they try to armchair warrior their way, and fooling you into thinking that they're some kind of expert. Now, before you say, "Oh, Andrew, aren't you one of those people?" In a way, I guess you could say I am, but I don't brainwash anyone. I tell it like it is. Just like Jesse Ventura, I tell it like it is, McMahon. But here's the thing. This is 2012. Ratings? No, they're not 4.5s anymore. You want to know why? DVRs. Streaming. There's so many other ways to watch wrestling that's not on a TV or live TV that people are taking advantage of than there was in 1998. And that's a big hunk of the wrestling audience. I myself have used streaming. I'm not going to lie. I don't feel like paying $45 for Extreme Rules after I just chunked out like 50 or 60 for WrestleMania like less than 30 days before that. You see what I'm saying? And not to mention all the food and supplies and stuff you got to buy. Because when you order WrestleMania, you ain't sitting there by yourself watching it. You've got people coming over. You're hosting. I have for years. My WrestleMania parties are pretty legendary. But, I used to do Nitro parties back in the day. They'd make those look bad, though, so. Today's WWE is not 98 WWE. I'll give you that. In 98, they were on the cover of TV Guide, Entertainment Weekly. I mean, they were all over the place. It's a down period. But I still don't see where it's as bad as some of the internet people are making out to be. There are things in WWE I don't like. I don't like the downgrading of the Divas division. I feel like they've got some extremely talented, very well trained divas on that roster. Natalya, Beth Phoenix, two of the best in the world. They can walk into any company and dominate. I think they walk into Shimmer. I think they walk into TNA or Japan and they dominate because they're that good. I don't like the mid-card division right now. There are, take a look at Dolph Ziggler. He is an extraordinary wrestler. He's held almost every championship in the company up to this point, with the exception of the WWE Championship. And I don't think he's held this version of the Tag Championships. I know he held the old version with the Spirit Squad, but I don't believe he's held this one. Correct me if I'm wrong. I may be wrong. I'm not going to... I may be the professor, but I'm not God. Extremely talented athlete. Having a brilliant career thus far. He's had great matches with just about everybody in the company. But here's my problem with him. What makes him stick out? What makes him memorable? The thing about the 80s and the 90s, when wrestling was at its boom, is it wasn't necessarily the best pure wrestler on the card that you went home with the memories and the lasting impressions. Yeah, Dynamite Kid would give you a kick-ass match and you were thrilled, but usually it was a guy like the Honky Tonk Man that would have you talking. He would give you the memory. He'd be the one making you laugh and smile and kick ass and take names and everything else. You know, my issue is with Ziggler is he is the vanilla bean of the WWE. An extremely good wrestler, but there's no taste. That's why Vicky Guerrero walks to the ring with him. That's why she draws every bit of heat that she can give that guy. There is nothing else right now they can do. He's young, I know. There's a lot of times he can develop better mic skills. I mean, look at The Rock. When he first came into the WWE in '97, I personally didn't think three shits about the guy. I thought he was a good athlete. He had a unique look, but he was boring. His microphone skills were atypical of a baby face. His persona at the time probably would have got booed in '87. But then he became The Rock. And he found something in his career, and it was the Die Rocky Die chance, and he took that. And he ran with it. And he became The Rock, and he became more... I think he became bigger than wrestling, in my personal opinion. He became bigger than the WWE, whether you like it or not. It could happen with Ziggler. It could happen, you know, even John Morrison. You know, a lot of people criticized him. He's another good athlete. I don't think he's a good wrestler by any means necessary. I think he's a good athlete, and he's a good-looking guy, and he's got this unique look to him, but, you know, when it get right down to it, vanilla bean. Vanilla bean. Now take Cody Rhodes. Now here's a guy, came into the company, white meat, fresh-faced, baby-faced. Ugh, how many times have we seen the second or third generation guy with the, oh shucks attitude that you just want to kick his ass. But evolved. Turned heel, joined with Orton and DiBiase and others to form Legacy. And then, you know, since then he's done the Doctor Doom inspired gimmick. He brought back the old Intercontinental. He's somebody whose character has slowly evolved and he's unique. He sticks out. He's not a cookie cutter guy. Now you look at his counterpart for such a long time, Ted DiBiase, on the other hand, he's about as cookie cutter a wrestler I think I've ever seen in the business. It's like, what is so different about him than, say, Alex Riley? In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if they were created in the same factory somewhere in Scottsdale, Arizona. These guys today, they need characters. They need to stick out. And character development just doesn't exist, and it's my only big knock on the WWE. I'm happy with most of the other stuff. You know, CM Punk delivers to me every week. Chris Jericho, when Triple H, Shawn Michaels, and The Undertaker are there, I'm never dissatisfied. These characters need to develop. And they're not. Another classic example is Drew McIntyre, who I happen to think is one of the most talented guys on the roster right now. And at one point he was very over as a heel, and then all of a sudden something happened. character's one-dimensional. His look is an A-plus look. His character, however, is one-dimensional. And they hit a brick wall with him. I think he got a little bit of trouble backstage, and it just seems like until recently he was irrelevant. Now he seems to have at least a storyline going on. I'm pretty sure it's leading to something. I don't know. He seemed to change my mind a lot. But, you know, he's a classic example of a guy who's not being allowed to flourish and flow. He needs to be given that opportunity to allow himself to move creatively. I guess what I'm saying is I'm not a fan of this new everything has to be scripted. Do you think Ric Flair read a script in 1998 when he came out there and he spoke from the heart and gave you emotion when he returned to WCW? Do you think Hulk Hogan pointed his hand and said, "Here's where the power lies," and told everybody he was going to slam Andre? Do you think that was in a script? Do you think it was written for him? Do you think when The Rock came out and told us to get the F out, he didn't tell us that, you know what I mean? None of The Rock isn't scripted. He wasn't scripted. When Shawn Michaels lost his smile, that wasn't scripted. That was working. That was building your character and taking yourself and blowing it up into another dimension. The same thing that has made that's what made Stone Cold Steve Austin great. It's what made Hulk Hogan. They took their own personalities and they blew it up into a giant dinosaur-sized conglomerate of appeal. Take a look at these wrestlers today, and they're so cookie cutter. They're so, shall we say, bland. You know, it's just, we need originality. Drew McIntyre and Dolph Ziggler can be a lot more than what they are if they were allowed to be given creative freedom. But I'm not saying tell them to go out there and do whatever the hell they want, because then, you know, then we might get the Shockmaster. I'm gonna get you. What was Ollie thinking? No, but you gotta. And this FCW stuff, it's cool to have a developmental league. I like it, but there needs to be more than one, in my opinion. I know they're getting reopened. They seem like they're getting reopened up a second one in Hartford. That's a cool idea. Let's go ahead and open up another one up in, like, Canada. Let's throw another one over in Texas. Let's have different people running each thing, that way they pick up different styles and techniques and pick different minds. The way it was when, say, like a young Rick Steiner or Sting was going from the UWF to World Class to Jim Crockett to Ted Turner. It's the way it should be. It's the way it was for 100 years. And all of a sudden they're telling us that's wrong? It would be like Major League Baseball saying, okay, we don't need the minor leagues anymore, so we're going to shut that down, and we're just going to pick from one source of, they pick from colleges, they pick from the minor leagues, they pick from independent leagues, they pick from other countries. WWE's picking from one place, FCW. Well, see, my timer's getting ready to mark off, so I'm getting ready to mark out, so, love you guys. Peace.